We're going to take you along kind of behind the scenes and show how we did it, and you'll get a better idea of how this tractor works in an application like this.
Up in here, there's a few more. It smells like future vegetables.
The tractor makes it look so easy. Remember, lift with your tractor, not your back.
I love when you find that rock just this.
Let's just call it our project series. I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and today we're on site and we're going to be doing a garden project with a Ventrac 4500. As you can see behind me, we've got a garden already started. It's a pretty large garden, and there's one raised bed to the side. We're going to be adding a second raised bed. Normally how you might want to start this project is to mow the grass as low as possible and scalp it so that when you put your next material down, it gives the bed less of a chance to have weeds and stuff grow up through. Since we're spoiled with good tools here, we have a sod cutter for the front of the Ventrac. So instead of doing that, we're going to actually cut the sod out and flip it, and basically we have bare topsoil facing up. The homeowner's been using wood chips. If you saw our previous video about wood chip gardening, you might have picked up a few things, but you can see here he's got a number of inches deep of wood chips, and that's really going to help with growing a lot of the stuff that he is, but it's not quite ideal for certain vegetables that you want to be planting, especially the delicate stuff, lettuce and peppers, that you are going to start from seed and you want to have a little bit looser soil. So that's why we'll use the raised bed both here and the new one that we'll build, so that he can do more of those things on the perimeter and then let this wild big stuff go in the wood chips because it's more suitable for that. First thing we're going to do is switch from the power bucket to the sod cutter, and that's another reason why this tractor is a great tractor for a project like this, because I can swap this attachment in a matter of seconds and we can get working, and then when I'm done with the sod cutter, which is going to be a pretty short step, you can go back to the power bucket. One of the things you want to make sure on the Ventrac when you're using the sod cutter is to make sure the weight transfer is completely off. It's on the left side of the machine over here. And also make sure you're in low range, that way you get the most traction and power pushing forward with the sod cutter. So we experienced some difficulties with the sod cutter, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this raised bed in the first place. This soil didn't stay together very well, so while we cut out pieces of sod, it worked pretty well in some spots, but it got clumpy in others. So instead of being able to flip the stuff, which is what would have been ideal, we'll have to go back and basically skim it off and flip it manually. And we'll use the power bucket, we'll just hook that on, and then we'll just kind of dig in and scrape down to where the sod cutter was cutting and just pick that dirt up and then dump it with the bucket and flip most of it. We might still have some grass showing, but it'll be pretty much the same thing. It'll just take a little bit longer. As you can see, we're done with the first step. It's not as clean as we had hoped. It's a little bit rough, but that makes absolutely no difference for this project because it's gonna all get covered up anyway. So our main goal here was to expose the soil and get most of the grass buried. So now we'll get the black fabric and we'll run a perimeter of that for the rocks to sit on. This fabric barrier will be going directly underneath the rocks. That way the weeds that grow up aren't growing through the rocks, they're growing out towards the edge, and you can mow up to it so that you don't have weed encroachment into the bed.
Helps to do yoga stretches in the middle of this.
Yoga's good for the body. Always be yogi. Let me borrow a knife from the cameraman because he's always got one. So what we'll do is we'll get the big rocks to where they're occupying this inside edge of this black fabric. That way the inside of the rocks is completely free and anything growing can go down into this dirt, and then there'll be a little bit of overhang of this black fabric, and that'll keep the weeds from growing into those rocks. This is a fun game. I wish I had bigger arms. Another reason we're using the Ventrac is because it's a great tractor for getting into places like this, because it's a rough path over here. There's lots of dips, and the oscillation of the tractor keeps it planted on the ground. Having a loader doesn't really matter in this application because We're picking rocks up off the ground, and we're not going to be able to get multiples in one bucket anyway without getting off and kind of positioning them. So it's a perfect use for this machine.
What's the matter, Aaron?
I'm weak. The tractor makes it look so easy. Remember, lift with your tractor, not your back. So now comes the heavy lifting. Unfortunately, can't use the tractor for this. It's gonna be a lot of handwork to try and lift and position rocks the best way possible. This one's massive. I like the look of this one too.
You know, I think he wants that in the other corner.
And we will let him do that. Because this one's going right here.
Why are you trying to stand up on its side like that?
Create an awesome looking bed. And we're trying to make this bed a little bit taller. That's a perfect joint. Those rocks were made to go together. This is like Stonehenge. Oh, look, you got a bird bath in this one. See? You know, this one kind of looks like Ohio. Up here you got Toledo, Youngstown, us. Nobody cares about this way. Definitely nobody cares about that way. We've got the homeowner helping us now, and he is hauling filler rocks. This rock is heavy. This is how it works out on projects like this. There is a perfectly flat surface right here that is ideal for going on the ground, and it's the furthest point up. So I have to flip this probably, we'll go with 1,000 pounds just because that'll make me feel better. I think this rock would actually fit better the other way around, but this side is uglier, so we're gonna point it in. Do we have any scientists watching? What's the density difference in rocks commonly found in Ohio? Why are some so much heavier than others? Maybe this one's solid gold on the inside. Oh my goodness. Those rocks were made to go together. Okay, you want to go double up or leave it out?
Leave it out, that's fine. Where in the heck did these rocks come from?
Glaciers.
Yeah, but there's not rocks around your place like this. Aaron, I just screwed up your whole thing. Oh jeez, they are all embarrassed right now.
So is this still better than making it out of wood?
Absolutely.
100%.
In 5 years, you're gonna be rebuilding yours out of wood. But in all seriousness, you're way healthier eating food out of a box grown with treated wood than going to the grocery store and buying processed garbage. I love when you find that rock that just fits.
It's happening less and less with our inventory depleting.
Quickly. And I trust Aaron because he's the Ventrac expert. Where are you going? Which way are you flipping? I'm flipping this way, you're flipping that way.
Twist it and then flip it up.
All right.
Twist it.
Pop it. Pop it. Pull it. Pull it. Yes.
Our goal right now is to get all of these rocks leaning slightly in. By having them lean in, once we fill this with dirt, it'll kind of counteract, and as that dirt settles, the rocks will want to kind of bed into the side rather than fall out to the perimeter. We've realized that we probably don't have enough compost coming, so we're going to go into the woods, we're going to dig a couple bucket loads of topsoil to lay as a base before we get our good compost. It's still good soil coming in from the woods because it's just a lot of years of composted leaves and everything. So we're going to want to get 6, 8, 10 inches of good topsoil before we start to fill it with that last 6 or 8 inches of compost. And
even adding just a little bit of dirt, some of these rocks are settling up.
this would actually be really good soil to do the whole bed because it's just decades of leaf decay and other organic matter. But finishing it off with the cardboard on top of this and the last few inches of crafted mushroom compost will help keep it so that there's less weed seeds at the top that can germinate. So while we could do it all this way, it's kind of nice to have the rest of the soil after this, kind of make it a finished product like the original bed. You don't want to have it be all the way to the top because you want to give yourself some years of ability to layer it. As you add more layers of leaves and cardboard, you want to still be able to keep building up without building too much soil. We need some more V-shaped rocks. Ugh. Yeah.
All right, so what's happening?
Watching him work. Now we're going to take some cardboard and lay it on top of the topsoil that we dug out from the woods.
Homeowner has a little Debbie addiction.
I have a little Debbie addiction.
I eat a lot of little Debbies, so I just have all these boxes myself. But if you don't have that much cardboard yourself, you can head to Dollar General or Walmart or somewhere and go to the back of the stores, ask them, hey, can I get some cardboard? It'll be flattened out already. This is also an easy way to plant in the spring. In a bed like this where you're not gonna till it, even if you wanted to, you wouldn't be able to get a tiller in here. You can lay cardboard down and just punch holes into it and plant into those spots, whatever you're planting, and that'll help suppress the weeds through the spring long enough for your vegetables to get established. Since it's cardboard, it's gonna decompose into pretty much nothing of nutritional value for the plants, but it's not gonna hurt anything. And all the ink that is on these things is printed in a soy-based ink, so it's non-toxic. It's not going to hurt anything either. The one thing you do want to do is make sure that you rip the tape off, because that's plastic you don't want in your garden.
This says other side up, so I better flip it.
So right now we've got the truck dumping the topsoil and mushroom compost. We're a little bit tall on our rocks, but I think it'll be okay.
I want you to dump most of it here. I'd rather shovel down than dig out. I think you're almost dry here. It's going to be really airy because I'm never going to walk on this.
Right.
I'm going to enter my stuff at the fair next year.
You could grow some awesome carrots.
Oh, buddy, that'll go. The roots will go straight through on this. That's the problem with growing carrots in packed soil. It's hard to grow.
Just grow small ones.
Yeah, down on my hands and knees scooping this stuff. It smells like future vegetables.
We've got the topsoil and the mushroom compost mostly spread, and all we have to do now is close up the last little gap of rocks. So we are headed back to the woods. This one was a little more work than the rest of them. We're on a pretty serious side hill. There's a lot of trees growing up and around, a lot of brush to navigate around. I can't think of anything other than a Ventrac that would be able to come in, navigate all this, clear out some of the underbrush, and then ultimately pick that rock up and drive it up the hill to the house. It's pretty impressive.
I never thought I was going to get that rock out. I've looked at that one a couple times. I've said, I'm going to kill trees to get to it. I'm going to get stuck on that hill. I'm amazed you got that thing.
That's a big rock.
That is every bit of 750 pounds.
You know, it really would be nice to have this thing face the other way, though.
You said this is permanent, right?
It
Because
is.
if I ever have to do this again, Aaron, I swear.
It's okay. It tastes better when you grow it yourself.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, just like that. And then that soil backed up against it. Careful, it's gonna come that way if it falls.
Yeah, well, at least I'll be under it to catch it. Remember how I said we were going to be smaller? Aaron said it should be bigger.
Some people play golf at work, some people move big rocks.
How's that for a wall? That's a wall. She leans in too. My only recommendation, if you're building a rock garden, get rocks just like this. Right here, find all of them just like this. What dirt's gonna come through there? What do you think? We're just gonna call it at that. Mark, are you okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Well, we're almost done. We got all the rocks in place, and all of the topsoil and compost inside of the barrier. As you can see, the rocks are pretty massive, several tons of rocks cumulative that we moved into this project. Where we're at now, it should all settle really nicely. We've got a couple support rocks like these small ones right here to help the big ones stand upright. As the mulch and soil on the inside settle, everything should kind of melt together a little bit. These rocks are big enough, they'll capture a lot of heat in the spring when the ground temperature is just starting to warm up, and they'll leach that heat back into the soil where the stuff is growing and give pretty much anything you plant into this bed a pretty serious head start over if it was just planted into the ground. That's another benefit that has been made a lot bigger and more profound by the size of rocks we were able to get into this bed. Basically all that's left to do is to put the mulch barrier around the corners, and we'll touch it up, get it ready to mow around, and then this project will be done. In total, we ended up going about 18 inches deep of topsoil and compost, which will be an excellent medium for growing vegetables, especially root vegetables and tubers like carrots that need to tunnel down, and the better loam they have, the more they'll grow, the bigger they'll grow, the better vegetables they'll be. I know the homeowner also plans to put some strawberries in parts of these beds, so they'll be able to grow a variety of different things in here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the behind the scenes footage for a project like this. We plan to do some more videos like this where we take the Ventrac and we just go do a job and start to finish, get it done, show you all the steps that it takes, maybe some of the missteps. So if you have any suggestions, let us know. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and give us some comments to see what you'd like to see the tractor, the Ventrac 4500 accomplish. And we'll be back next time with a different video.